Good evening, welcome to another live from the Living Room gigs. My name is David Burns, I'm the host here on this Twitch channel, and I am delighted to say that this week I am joined for a live unplugged acoustic session by Ross Gilchrist. Take it away, Ross.
Where we were, Elysian idyllic, dormantly tectonic, milk and honey blows away promise, yet still it's gone. From green to ruin, you attempted to bear the cross I'd laid us on myself, but by all accounts, you had waited long enough. But I guess Godot and me got stuck at the bar now. Oh, you thought that you fucked it up, but only for a week now. Oh, what was the catalyst for this remiss into this gliss? I know that our hearts, they took to the abyss. Oh, and I swear to you that I'm so fucking awesome now. No, I'm doing so awesome. And I fuck doing awesome now. Well, this fearsome man, Johnny has been released. Just keep lying, boy. Just keep crying, boy. I could wrap this fucker up in metaphor, but that was stuck to burning's how I roll. I guess this was for the road, but it's my only bit of wisdom now. Cause if I was you, I'd have said, fuck me too now, baby. You thought that you fucked it up, but only for a week now. Oh, what was the catalyst for this remiss into this bliss? And all that our hearts, they took to the abyss. Oh, and I swear to you that I'm so fucking awesome now. No, I'm doing so awesome. And I fuck doing awesome now. Well, this fearsome man, Johnny has been released. Just keep lying, boy. Just keep crying, boy. Oh, whoa, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, whoa, You thought that you fucked it up, but only for a week now. Oh, what was the catalyst for this remiss into this bliss? And all that our hearts, they took to the abyss. Oh, and I swear to you that I'm so fucking awesome now. No, I'm doing so awesome. And I fuck doing awesome now. Oh, this fearsome man, Johnny has been released. Just keep lying, boy. Just keep crying, boy.
Well, viewers who had the Tinker sweepstake on the go as to when she would interrupt the show this time, if you had 3 minutes on your card, then you win. She has come straight through and crashed the show already. So this is live from the Living Room gigs with me and Tinker and with Ross Gilchrist, and I'm delighted to have you back along. It's been a while since we had you in.
Yeah, it's been a long. It's been about a year.
So how have you been keeping?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I've put on some weight.
Yeah, it's been good. This is the first time I've actually been able to sing at volume for some time because I'm now living in this really quiet neighbourhood. I can't sing at full volume because obviously that would disturb the person with Parkinson's next door and the small child who's like 6 next door. So it's like, well, got to play guitar in the studio now. So,
Well, I'm glad we can get you in here and get you blaring it out full blast.
but no, I've been really good actually. I haven't been writing much at all in the past year. But yeah, I've been enjoying. I'm still playing a lot and just playing a lot more. I'm trying to get back to what I like about music, because I'm sure you know yourself. It's quite difficult to stay in love with it with these days.
Aye, it can be a challenge sometimes to keep the inspiration going. So I think that's kind of the plan for tonight's show. We're going to do something a little bit different. It's not going to be all originals tonight. We're going to have we're going to talk a wee bit about influences, and it's going to be a mix of covers and originals.
Yes, it's something I've actually wanted to do for quite a while. Because I mean, one of the things that I don't really play my originals for fun at home anyway. I do it for enjoyment at gigs and things, but I play mostly covers, and I'd kind of like to do some of that tonight because it's fun.
It's kind of good sometimes just to get back to the music that made you want to pick up a guitar in the first place.
Oh, definitely, and I tried to pick stuff like that. Some of these songs I got into when, God, most of them are 20 years old. Like that's what's quite scary about the selection of songs is that they're all at least from '97.
The music you fall in love to when you're a teenager, yeah, it sticks with you, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does. Like, yeah, I think I saw a report the other day that there was somebody talking about how your musical tastes. I'm sure it was on YouTube. It was one of the guys like Rick Beato or one of the other guys, Rick Beato on YouTube, who's totally worth watching if you're into music harmony at all. But he was talking about, or him or someone like him was talking about how your musical taste got locked at 18 or 19. So, and then you roughly stay about the same until you pop your clogs.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but I've generally got the same stuff in my iPod that I listened to back then, like with some exceptions. Like,
Well, I mean, if you look over to your right, you'll see an art print of all the REM albums. So
yeah,
what can I say?
yeah, and we all know they didn't release a really good one after '99.
Oh,
I just thought I'd say that, a controversial thing. I don't actually believe
he's
that.
started already.
No, I don't actually believe that. I think Reveal's a good album. Up's great.
Oh, Up is very underrated. Anyway,
Up's never the rest.
well, that's maybe pushing it, but
New Adventures and Up for me.
Yeah.
I think that's the pinnacle for me.
and there's some great songs on there. We should just say we get the chat window up on the screen as well. Hello to Gil. Thank you for tuning in. What were you saying? The hell of it from Phantom of Paradise because it's better than Rocky Horror.
yeah. Phantom of the Paradise is better than Rocky Horror though, and it's just Gil's right. He's right. So I think the songs might be better, like on Rocky Horror. Like one or two, the consistency of the songs might be better on Rocky Horror, but the movie Phantom of the Paradise is an infinitely better movie than Rocky Horror.
I don't think I've actually seen that one.
It's worth your time. It's very worth your time.
Add that to the list of cult films I need to
dude,
catch up
It's one
on.
of those ones you should watch now. like as soon as we go out the door, you should
What are we doing now?
good time.
I can maybe. But we'll do the show first.
Yeah, probably the best idea. Cool. So this is a Ben Folds one, obviously. I was going to get Blaine out of the way first.
We couldn't really have you in talking about influences and not talking about Ben Folds.
Well, yeah.
So when did you get? When did that kind of first kind of make an impact on you?
90. No, it was 2000. It was 2000 and it was 2000. I bought. The first time I remember seeing Ben was on the ITV chart show in early '95, and there was one of their tunes off their first album on the ITV chart show and a video for it. I can't remember which one it was. It was 95 or 96.
Back in the days when you would get proper music programs on and not just like all like cookery stuff on Saturday morning.
Dedicated shows with lots of different music on it, not the same kind of thing. And I remember Ben's video striking me as like there because it was piano, bass, and drums. And I remember thinking that's really strange. Like I'd only just get into music. I think the first band I really got into was Blur, and then I saw that and thought, God, that's fantastic. Who is that? And then for some reason I missed the lower third that tells you what the band was.
Info,
and then I think I saw the last 10 seconds of the video, and then I saw another video about 10 years later, and it was not about 10 years. It must have been about 6 years later, because it would have been 2001. And I bought Whatever and Ever Amen. I believe that's the second record.
But it stuck with you enough that when you saw the same thing again, it immediately took you back.
Instantly went. And I remember them from years ago, and I bought the album and instantly fell in love with it and thought that this is awesome. It's punk rock, but it's vulnerable. It's punk rock, but it's also harmonically complex, and you could tell that they played it live. There was no overdubs, or there was very little overdubs on that record that stood out as being overdubs. It came across as a really pure live album, and that's what I liked about it. And when I looked in the inlay, it said they recorded it in the living room of their house.
Oh,
and I was like,
fantastic.
that's what I want. I want that DIY style.
That rawness, that immediacy.
Yeah, exactly. The spontaneity making music, and I really feel they captured it. They captured that whole thing, that whole spirit on that album. Because there's very little, even some of the noise and stuff that's on it, you can hear some amp noise and things that you just don't get anymore.
There's an Art Brut song. I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head now which one it is, but he's talking about this kind of thing in the lyrics, and he mentioned like hearing this squeak of fingers moving on the fretboards, and their parents shouting "Turn it down."
I knew a girl, I won't mention her name to protect the innocent, well, they're not so innocent. And she really loved the sound, that string slide. She had in any acoustic song she listened for it, and if it wasn't there she got disappointed. And it's like, that kind of ambience and small noises that go on in a real live studio. I remember that, it's like when the levee breaks, the Led Zeppelin track, you can hear
the squeak of the bass drum.
The bass drum pedal on, and it sounds amazing. It sounds like part of the song. It's an integral part of the beat.
That's when you know that what you've got there is humans making music.
Yep.
It's not electronically reprocessed in the studio. This is actually just, we've got some people in a room making something they care about, and we've stuck some microphones on them, and this is it.
Yeah. Shall I play this one and we'll come back to this?
We've got some people in a room, we've stuck some microphones on you. Let's do it.
September 75, I was 47 inches high. My mom said by Christmas I would have a badass mother G.I. Joe, or your little man as you blow. I still got beat up after class. Yeah, now I'm big and important. One angry dwarf and 200 silent faces of you. If you really want to see me, check the papers and the TV. Look who's telling who what to do. Kiss my ass goodbye. Don't give me that bullshit. You know who I am. I'm your nightmare little man. Think you stole my lunch money, made me cry. Jane remembers second grade. Said you couldn't stand my face. Rather than kiss me, you said you did or die. Now I'm big and important. One angry dwarf and 200 silent faces of you. If you really want to see me, check the papers and the TV. Look who's telling who what to do. Kiss my ass goodbye. You'll be sorry one day, yes you will, yes you will. You shouldn't push me around, cause I will, yes I will. You will be sorry when I'm big, yes you will, yes you will. You will be sorry. And I'm big and important. One angry dwarf and 200 silent faces of you. If you really want to see me, check the papers and the TV. No, look who's telling you what to do. Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass, goodbye now. Kiss my ass, goodbye now. Ring the bell, one thing by baby. Kiss my ass, goodbye now. Kiss my ass, goodbye now.
Ross Gilchrist live in session here for our live from the living room gigs. And I've got a question for you from Gil about Ben Folds. Has he done his weekend retreat at the Athol Palace in Pitlochry yet? I think Gil's looking to book a gig here.
Don't think so. Don't think it's happened
You can
yet.
still get tickets for that, maybe?
I don't know.
We're not sure, but we think maybe not.
I think you can. I think you still can, but I'm certainly not attending it. It's too rich for my blood.
It's probably mine as well. So you as you're saying that's this is a band that the lineup is piano based. So what's the approach when you're transposing it for the guitar? When you're coming up with your version of it?
Pick out the important notes. Pick out the leading notes, the notes that people want to hear. So, like here, like this moment, this. So I don't believe the piano, the main middle harmony in the piano does the. Don't believe that the piano does that on the middle. I believe it does it on the bass to double up the bass guitar. But that
when it's doubled up, then it stands out.
Yeah, and when he's hitting that B minor seventh and that A minor seventh, and then he goes in. See that's fucking beautiful. Like B minor seventh, A minor seventh, G major seventh. Now that's really weird because it should be a major chord, but he hits the, and it keeps it dissonant. It keeps because the major seventh there, that interval there's really, it's ugly and it's dissonant.
Just keeps you on edge.
It does. It doesn't provide the resolution you want. What's really beautiful about that particular interval is that if you put it in a chord like it's a paradox. Like that particular inversion, because it's just a bow hair off an octave, but when it's that and on its own, it's ugly as sin. But music's all about context, like everything is. So if you come in really slow, it sounds beautiful. But if you come in really it sounds a little bit more ugly, a bit more like resolution. So that when you come into that E minor chord, that sounds like the tone. Like that sounds like the tonal root. Like so when you go, it creates that sense. Oh, that's the key center. Yeah. It's not. The key center is the B minor.
It just keeps you a little bit off guard.
Well, yeah. It's. I don't know if you've ever heard Aqualung by Jethro Tull.
I'm trying to think if I have now. I'm not.
It's
probably have it somebody.
Well, it's
one of
also.
these I know to hear it. Yeah.
It's a riff with no key center. It's just got the most of Jethro Tull's Aqualung is in no key. It's completely atonal. There's a couple of bits where it switches to actually have a key center. But that kind of lack of resolutions can be really effective, particularly with Ben, and you've got that harmonic range of the piano. So applying that to guitar is just about getting the rhythm, and then working out if you need to do the bass, like because you want the bass guitar to drive the harmony. But if you just wanted to go, then it wouldn't work. And I've had there was a comment on the YouTube video that somebody said this is the best guitar version there is, and I was like, well, I don't understand. And when I read it, I thought, well, I don't understand why that is, because there's plenty more guitar players out there that are better than me and who could sing better than me. But I think it's the approach where people think they can't translate this massive harmonic range to 6 strings and a few octaves, and the thing is, like, it is a very limited instrument. Like, to up that, it's not much. Like, I think my top is like a C in falsetto. So it's not so if the human voice can replicate it, it's not a very wide range, because unless you're fucking Mariah Carey. But it's I don't know. I think it's just a very difficult thing for people to wrap their heads around as a piano played as you might an electric guitar. And that's why I really like Ben, because it's this uncommon approach. Apart from, I got into his lyrics much later on, but that's another reason I really like him a lot. Lyrically, I just feel that he's very honest to a fault, probably. Like he probably writes about stuff he shouldn't, write about sometimes because it causes problems in his personal life and such. But no, I just every time I've met him, and I've met him twice now, he's always come across as somebody who just lives for music, and I'm really jealous of that. And I mean that like really sincerely. I really am jealous that he can live that life, because it's a beautiful thing what he's doing. And I think he's actually got better as the years have gone on. His music's gotten more mature and it's become more harmonically enriching and lyrically, especially in some of the like that song there. Like, I mean, I think he wrote that in '97 or '98, and it's just all about a lot of stuff I felt at school. I've just been beat up for being small and like been just been a wee kid, and there's that very narcissistic desire of like, I'm going to be big someday, you know. And I did think that when I was a kid at school. I was like, I'm going to be huge someday. Fuck you all. I really did. Like, it was so stupid. Like, I can't believe how vain and narcissistic it was.
But it's what we all think like that. If we're being put on, we all want to be able to get back at the people that are doing it to us, and think we're gonna be able to find some way of getting our revenge on them at some point.
Yeah. But I mean, it's also the wrong motivation. You know what I mean? And I like that honesty of going, it's the wrong way to think. And he doesn't even say it's the wrong way to think, but he knows it's sort
in
of
there.
It's implied.
Yeah. Living well's the best revenge.
Yeah. And take the high road. I think that was the point of the song, is like, don't be like this character in this song. Take the high road and be this other person. Just live your life and do what you want to do, and get there if you get there. But yeah.
So that's Ben Folds 5. I think we've got that pretty well covered.
Yeah. I could rattle on about Ben for fucking ages. So the next one I want to do is actually a Bare Naked Ladies song.
Oh yeah, I love them.
For me, it's not really a Bare Naked Ladies song. It's a Stephen Page song. Like, do you find that all of the good songs are Stephen Page's songs, like, and all the bad songs are Ed Robertson's songs?
To be honest, I probably don't know them in that much detail to know who wrote which ones. I just know which songs I like.
Yeah, I found the chord book for Stunt and
I
had
that as well when I was
it might be your copy.
Very possible.
But yeah, I found it and I started looking into who was doing it, and I noticed that he was writing with Stephen Duffy. Stephen Duffy used to write for Duran Duran, and all the good songs, like one week, I'll Be That Girl, in the car, which I'm going to play. Call and Answer. There's a couple. They're all written by Stephen Duffy and Stephen Page, with maybe Ed Robertson as a sort of subplot. But Page came out with a couple of albums recently called Heal Thyself Part 1 and 2. The first one was called Discipline. Is it Instinct and Discipline? And the second one's another title, but it's not as good as the first one. And I just feel like his lyrics are like Ben's. They're so fucking honest that when you hear them, you think, oh, I wish I wrote that. Like, I wish I'd said something that profound in any of my songs.
And that's when you know you're onto something, when you hear it and think, oh, if I could just have thought of that.
But this one I really like, because it's about that. It's about that life you have when you're a kid, where you're in high school, and it's that everybody's into the idea of sex, and everybody's really into the idea of winching. Like, winching becomes a big thing, and then all of a sudden it gets a bit more serious, and then that's when people have split off and start making like arrangements. Nefarious cloak and dagger arrangements at different times and things. And I was with this one girl at the time that I was getting into the Bare Naked Ladies, and we had this exact kind of relationship. And it's just an astounding song, because it managed to sum up a song from Canada that was perfectly about something I was doing in Scotland, which it means it's universal.
Totally,
aye. So shall we just batter into it?
I think we should.
Cool. So this one's called In the Car. She fed me strawberries and freezer burned ice cream. I said goodbye, I guess. She lifted up her dress and
And so I must confess, we made out one more time before I left for good. She thought I'd come back, but I wouldn't want to seem like other guys. A book and record love, we sat and read our books between those longing looks, confounded by our fear. My tongue inside her ear, my tongue inside her, in the basement of her mother's house, where we once taped the first 3 sides of Sandinista for my car. We were looking for ourselves and found each other in the car. It was rare to do much more than simply mess around in the car. It was mostly mutual masturbation, but though we spoke of penetration, I'd have to wait for someone else to try it out. And once I had this dream where I slept with her mom. Unless I've got this wrong, a secret all along. Unless she hears this song, unless she hears it on a tape inside her car with her new husband, and she turns to him and says, I think that's me. In the car, we were looking for ourselves and found each other in the car. We groped for excuses not to be alone anymore in the car. We were waiting for our lives to start their endings in the car. We were never making love. We were never making love. We were never making love.
I'll press the right button now, and this is when the picture of me should come up on the screen. Hello to everyone who's tuned in. This is live from the Living Room Gigs, and we've got a guest artist session in tonight. We've got my very good friend Mr. Ross Gilchrist playing here. This is the guy that was in one of my very first bands, and we've got him in tonight talking about influences, favourite bands, favourite cover versions to play, a few original songs as well, because he's a phenomenally amazing guitarist and songwriter, and he'll be blushing if I'm saying that now.
Yep.
That's,
That's gonna happen.
But you are. So
Thanks, man. Back at you.
so what shall we go on to next? That was some Bare Naked Ladies.
Right, so the reason I wanted to play that is because when I was writing this next song, it was one of the songs I was kind of thinking of in the back of my head. This one's called Pushing Flowers. And I
love
think
this
if I
one.
didn't play it, you would murder me.
Yes, we would.
But the reason I was... Because I wrote this song years ago called Eternal Sunshine. And it was this like...
Yeah, that's one of those songs that makes me incredibly jealous of you as a guitarist.
Well, it wasn't... It might have been... Right, I was quite pleased with the music. I was never chuffed with the lyrics. The lyrics were always very... They didn't feel like me. They felt like somebody else. So they might have been functional and served a purpose, but they didn't feel honest. So when I wrote Pushing Flowers, I had a dream about... I had this image of a skull with a side-on profile of a skull in the top, completely like chiseled off erratically, as if somebody had just hacked into it, and sprouting from which was this massive bouquet of flowers, and I just thought that that's such an arrestingly interesting image.
Yeah.
to me anyway, and that I would like to try and make it that interesting and arresting in a song. And I was sort of going through a period of self-examination, and I was looking at what I was doing. I was like, well, I was smoking weed every day, and I was smoking weed every morning from the morning I woke up, the minute I woke up, from the minute I went to bed. I mean, this was a point where I was so I was working for an unnamed supermarket at the time, and and I would wake up in the morning and I would have a joint, and then I would
every little helps.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely, every little helps. And then I would go for a shower, and then I'd go for another one with my cup of coffee, and then I'd get dressed and everything. And then I'd go for one on the way to the bus. I'd have one coming off the bus on the way to work. I'd have one waiting to go into work, and then I would have one on the way back. And I thought, well, this is not good. This can't be good. This can't be good at all. So I was trying to think that if I wrote a song, surely I would probably stop that behaviour and make it less feckin' toxic, and try to do something a bit more productive and positive, which is when I get really into yoga and stuff, like a twat. But it was, I just wanted to do something really, really honest, like In the Car or Angry Dwarf, and Pushing Flowers was it. I think when I wrote that song, it was like, oh, yeah, that's you. That's me. Yeah. That's who I am. And then after that, it's just it's been a lot easier to write.
I've just put a link into the chat room. By the way, if you go to rossgilchrist.bandcamp.com, you'll find a lot of Ross's albums there, and that's on which one's that on?
It's on Fearsome Engine. Yeah, it's on Fearsome Engine. I think it's track 3.
That's Fearsome Engine.
I don't even know that. Graham's like, no, it's track 4 bit.
Gil's asking if we're going to get anything later on off the Speed of Thought EP.
Oh God! Right, I might give it a go, but fuck, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay, no promises, Gil.
Yeah, man, I'll give it a shot, but I'll do this first, right? Eh?
So here, this is Ross Gilchrist, Pushing Flowers.
It's been a long 10 years of working in circles around hearts, and I may have gotten a little lost, just a little lost. I've been drowning in forgotten seas. Though my friends, they try to drag me to a show just to raise a smile. The seamless set Mary stems of my cerebrum, pushing upwards through the cracks in my skull. Hallelujah, now I feel like an help them blow. Surely it hasn't been 10 years. Someone sped up our rotation around the sun. But I got a little confession to make. I am all lost in myself, and I'm very terrified of life. And this weed is making me paranoid, so I better go back home. The similar set of Mary stems of my cerebrum, pushing flowers through the cracks in my skull. Hallelujah, now I feel like I can help them. Mary stems of my cerebrum, pushing flowers through the cracks in my skull. Hallelujah, now I feel I can help them blow.
Fantastic. Ross Gilchrist here, live from the Living Room gigs with Pushing Flowers from the Fearsome Engine album. And do go and give that a wee look. Check him out. I'll stick the link up again there. That's rossgilchrist.bandcamp.com.
If you're having any difficulty downloading it, because I do believe someone was having an issue downloading it the last time they picked it up, send over, if you can put my email in there, rossgilchrist@hotmail.com, ross_gilchrist@hotmail.com. If anyone's having a problem with it, just email me and I'll send you the proper files and stuff, because I think Bandcamp's get messed up somewhere and I can't seem to upload it without changing everything, so I don't know what's going on with that.
I think that's ross_gilchrist@hotmail.com. I've put up the link to your Facebook page as well, facebook.com/Dr. Roscoe. So if they want to track you down and stalk you,
Yeah, you can just hit me up my email. Don't worry, I won't answer.
if you want a copy, just come down to Cumnock.
Yeah, I think I've got a couple left, I think. I'm sure I do. I'm sure I've got a couple of versions of this. I actually thought of an old place there. I was like, yeah, they're sitting in there and that, but they're not in there. They're in a different house.
They'll be around somewhere. For everyone who is just tuned in, this is live from the Living Room gigs, and I'm David Burns here, and I host the channel. So hey, Fernando, hey, who else has been on I've lost. Smoink Boink. Hello to everyone. I'm trying to keep up with the channel. Oh, is that Pete? It's Pete. Okay, we know who Pete is. That's from Marshall Chips. And yeah, good to have you tuned in to the stream here. For anyone who doesn't know what's going on, what we do every Wednesday night, we have a different guest artist in to play some original music, maybe some of their favourite covers, and that's what we're doing tonight with Ross Gilchrist here. This is second time having you in, so it's good to have you back up. It's been nice to catch up with you again.
It is actually, yeah. We should actually do more social things, Dave.
We should do that as well with Pete.
It's one of those things, isn't it?
You reach a certain age and like your social life is just going out the window.
Because all you want is just a cup of tea in bed. That's me. That's my life. It's like, oh, I've done everything I need to do today.
Trying to organise meeting up with friends. It's like, well, I might be able to see you in 4 months if we can get a babysitter.
Yeah, as soon as I've got my energy up, as soon as I've got enough energy to actually do it.
So yeah, this is a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. So basically I was gonna do a couple more and then another original, if that's all right.
Is that all right?
Is that all right?
I think that's all right.
That's all right. Cool. All right. I'll just jump into this. The now.
Somebody's hiding is crowding my icebox. Somebody's tall boy is giving me chills. Guess I'll just close my eyes. Oh yeah, alright. Feels good inside. Flip on the telly, wrestle with Jimmy. Something is bubbling behind my back. Bottle is ready to blow. Say it ain't so. Your talk is a heartbreaker. Say it ain't so. My love is a life taker. I can't conform to, I never could do that which might hurt you, to try and be cool. Then I'll say, this wave is wings are but oh so high. This bottle of Stevens awakens ancient feelings like father, stepfather. The sun is drowning in the fire. Yeah, 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 yeah. Say it ain't so. Whoa, whoa. Your talk is a heartbreaker. Say it ain't so. My love is a life taker.
Ross Gilchrist live in session here. So that's Weezer, I believe, isn't
Damn
it?
right. Yeah, that's
Yes.
Weezer off the Blue Album.
Thought we
Again,
might get some Weezer from you.
I'm very predictable. No, the reason I like Weezer is because it's great. They're great songs. They're well. The reason I like Weezer's first two records is because they're very brilliant. The production's just great. The lyrics are literally brilliant. I love the lyrics so much, especially on Pinkerton. But Say It Ain't So is very particular because I think that it just resonates to that family angst where if you're ever a child of divorce, or if you've ever been a child of divorce, you completely understand what it's like to lose faith in your parents utterly. And that's just one of those things that happens if you're and I think that song captures it perfectly because it's this really sad moment where this teenager's realised that his dad's not only infallible but that he's a complete prick, and that's why that middle eight is such a joy to sing because it's quite. I mean, my dad was not a prick. Like I am a child of divorce, but my family were they had their fights, but it was never alcoholism or anything dreadful. It was just a shit situation, but.
It's a situation that resonates.
Yeah, I can't say that those words don't resonate with me because there is that sort of. It just taps into that vein of pure anger that is so liberating. Like if you lived through that kind of thing. And I do really like it. I think what's beautiful about it is that it builds very well. I really love this change of back to this right. So the key center here is E. But it starts off in C sharp minor, right? But the actual key centers, and that's why when it hits that, it feels fantastic, and it's also why when it hits that top E there, but it's actually a guitar going bit to E, but on an acoustic, it's really hard to bend. To that note, it's really here, but it's not a great place to. But it just works so well, and that's why when every other acoustic version I've ever heard of that song doesn't do that, it doesn't work. There's something about
missing.
Go hitting that key center up every other note. It just because you've got this minor seventh, but it's really played in this power chord. So you've got this fourth dissonance here, and that just makes it ugly as sin, and I love it to bits. That is so good. And then when it hits that perfect fifth cadence there, that is just perfect, and it is a literal perfect cadence, and that just works like that, building the tension, because it flips it in the middle eight when he changes the key from C sharp minor or E, whichever way you prefer to write it, or you think it's true. He switches it to B for the middle eight, and when it hits that original key center, the sun is drowning in, right? When it hits that, you're like, oh, I think we're going back home. We're going back home, and then when it hits it, you're like, yes! And that's just like people don't. People look at the Beatles and go, oh, that's terrible. Imagine writing such cheesy music as that. And they don't know what they're fucking talking about. Anybody that slags the Beatles or doesn't like the Beatles well, someone who doesn't understand the Beatles, or at least respect them musically, doesn't understand music.
Yeah, try and learn how to play those songs, and then realise just how much is going on in them.
Yeah. What's amazing about John Lennon's writing is that the phrase is the phrase. Like, he didn't say, he wasn't constrained by time signature. Like, and across the universe, it's like, words are flowing out like endless rain into a paper cup. And then there's another beat after that. And it's like, that's a bar 2/4 for no reason, but it's to give the audience a breath to go, it's so long, they pass this little.
It's a bar of 2/4 because that's what the song needs there.
Yeah, aye. That's real music. That's real music. And one of my friends was showing me some shredding. There was some metal band, and all they were doing was just shredding on scales like that, on like the melodic harmonic minor, and they were just doing that over and over and over again. And I felt like saying, yes, it's impressive,
But it's boring.
aye, but there's no heart, there's no love, there's no emotion in it whatsoever. And I just thought I just think that that's a really bad way to write music. I think, and the wrong music's the worst thing you can do, especially for your mental health. Like, if you listen to Pantera and or well, not so much Pantera, maybe that G's you up a bit, but like Burzum, if you're depressed and you listen to black metal like Burzum, that's not the right thing to do. That's the wrong thing. Like, you should be listening to anything but Burzum or Radiohead, like anything that's just depressing. Like, I think, like, people don't understand that music isn't just, it's not just something you stick on to enjoy or bop your head to. It's actually a tool, and used correctly, it can save your life. Like,
yes.
Yeah. So I mean,
And that's why it really, really winds me up when all you hear in the charts are just really boring stuff.
Right.
To go into a very different direction from the band you were talking about. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you watched the show that we did with Ben a couple of weeks ago, where we sat and analysed every entry from this year's Eurovision Song Contest. And there was a brilliant article. Ben would know the name of the guy that wrote it. It's not coming to my head off the top immediately, but took our entry and broke it down and did the same kind of analysis that you're doing on it. And it was just the most dull as ditchwater, basic, X Factor type, dire songwriting. The song was just so lazy. And so, why would you do that? Why would you put that out into the world? There's no reason for it to exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like trap music.
Yeah,
I don't get trap music. Maybe I'm old and I'm out of touch and I don't understand rap anymore. But I listened to Kendrick Lamar's last album. Was it Damn? And it was, that's exactly what I said when I listened to it. I thought, damn, this is garbage. And but his previous record was good, To Pimp a Butterfly. That was a good album. And then Damn came out and it was like, this guy's just put an 808 and straight into the desk, and then just recorded some beats, and some producers come along and actually stitched it together into a track, and he's come in and went, okay, I'll sit and create some rhymes. Boom, we've got a record.
I think I spent the entire Eurovision's analysis show talking to Ben and just saying, they've just shoved an 808 on that all over it. There's no need for it.
I mean, I love the 808.
Used well, yeah.
But,
music, yeah, it's subjective and everything, but oh dear, yeah, no.
Yeah, I really just think that we're clutching at straws with the 808, with the overuse of the 808 now, and especially in a time where you've got all of the software you could ever imagine at your fingertips, and we're using probably not even 808s, but replicas.
It'll be a software synth.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just feel like a lot of them have kind of lost their way. There have been some pop songs recently that I've actually quite liked. There's this one, baby, something like that. If you'll be, let it be, some shit like that. And I was like, that's not actually that bad. I heard it in the gym the other day, and I was like, that's okay. That's actually like B plus for effort. Like, and it was just like, and then I heard this other song after it, and it was just absolute dross. And I don't get it. I think pop's got more complicated in some respects. In other respects, it's gotten far worse. Especially stuff like Iggy Azalea, Cardi B. They're all garbage and they all sound the same. And it's and it's one hook, and for the whole song, you're like 4 minutes of this, Seriously, like
It just feels like we've got to a point where the data analysis of songs, like a song in this formula has sold well,
Yeah.
so let's replicate it.
yeah.
And
So let's do a 4-chord song
Yeah,
and not do the not fuck me. That's weak. That right? That I've just worked it with that. Scottish when God gave rock and roll to you part 2. That's gonna be me when I get home. I'll be sitting,
that'd be you for the rest
Here
of
we
the
go.
night, yeah.
Because you've got to love that fucking song. Right, shall I just batter on with another one?
What you
Come on.
playing next?
Right, so this is Having a Blast by Green Day. Because I had to put a Green Day song on there. And speaking of 4-chord songs, this actually is a 4-chord song in the chorus.
I mean, there's nothing inherently bad about a 4-chord song.
No, you're right. This song, though, I think represents the Green Day that could have been. More than any other band. More than any track, rather. God, I'm an idiot. But this one in particular, it's like, so this is the band we could have had, like, in the American Idiot period when they were all over. We could have had this band instead. Because I don't know if anybody knows that, but if you listen to the first 2 records, which the 1039 Smooth Out Slap Airs, which is a compilation of EPs that they did in the Bay Area back in the early 90s, and then Kerplunk, which is the last album they did for Lookout Records. Those albums actually feature some really good guitar playing from Billy Joe Armstrong, some great lead playing, like seriously technical lead playing, and
He's
none
a
of
good
it exists
guitarist.
anymore. Like, it's all. It's Green Day. It is Green Day. Like that's the thing. That's what they do.
I mean, a little bit of that, fine, but don't do that on every song.
Aye, like, and all of them are like, it's just like, what was it Roscoe Vacant said about, he quoted somebody to me once saying that Rod Stewart was the greatest example of a talent well disregarded and disposed of. Or misused, I think was the actual word.
I've heard somebody else put that quote, and I can't remember who said it originally, but
Hang on though,
Aye,
and I think
look
Green
at-
Day, that was it. You compare like NoFX are like a tenth of the technical ability of Green Day, but they put out far more technical stuff than Green Day ever have, and it's just like why would you not want to? Because I think they heard The Decline. If you're not familiar, the NoFX put out a 20-minute song called The Decline, and it's fucking amazing. It's the best song about politics ever written. Like if you want to understand modern politics, you listen to The Decline. Because it's everything. It sums up the right, the left, everything. It's just boom in that one 20-minute track. And Green Day tried it with American Idiot and fucked it up, like substantially, and then it became a musical and everything. It's like, and then the Decline stuck there. Nobody remembers it apart from one dude who did a symphonic version of it a couple of years ago. But I mean, Green Day had, for me, they had 2 great albums and one mediocre one that was almost excellent. But with some editing, it could have been excellent. Like Nimrod, this is what I'm talking about. If you Dookie's excellent, Insomniac's fucking fantastic, and Nimrod is the one that got away. It's the bird that got away. Like,
two great albums and one that's almost there that's not bad.
It's not a bad record, but
A lot of bands would kill for that.
Aye, exactly. Aye, Wheatus. I bet Wheatus would kill for that. I actually quite like Wheatus. But I'll just play this.
One decent song and then...
Actually, that first album's not bad. Like, there's some good tracks on that record, and I can understand why they got upset that nobody wants to hear them play anything but Teenage Dirtbag. But because an ex-girlfriend of mine went to see them and said that they refused to play it. The crowd were chanting it, and they were just like, no, sticking their heels in like a baby. No!
It's like the days when Radiohead wouldn't play Creep.
Yeah, it's like, get over yourselves, lads. Come on.
Have R.E.M. ever played Shiny Happy People?
No, but that's understandable.
Wow.
I don't think I'd want to be remembered for shiny happy people. I think I'd be like, we didn't do that, no. As I inject myself with insulin to get rid of the diabetes. So shall I play that?
Gil is agreeing with you, The Decline is perfect.
Fucking right, Gil. There we go. Me and you were like this. Shall I I'm taking all you down with me. Explosives duct tape to my spine. Nothing's gonna change my mind. I won't listen to anyone's last words. There's nothing
me. It's taking it all out on you for all the shit you put me through. Well, no one here is getting out alive. This time I've really lost my mind and I don't care. So close your eyes and kiss yourself goodbye and think about the times we spent and what they've meant. To me it's nothing. To me it's nothing. To me it's nothing. To me it's nothing. Do you ever think back to another time? Does it bring you so down that you thought you lost your mind? Did you ever wanna leave a long ways of destruction and move down any bullshit that confronts you? Did you ever build up all the small things in your head to make one problem that adds up to nothing? To me it's nothing. To me it's nothing. To me it's nothing.
Well, we've got a few minutes left on today's show. Can we persuade you to do something off speed of thought?
I'll play you one that was gonna be on the Speed of Thought, but I couldn't get it on there.
How's that for you, Gil?
Right, so Speed of Thought was, so the folks that don't know, Speed of Thought was an album I tried to make and failed, and it was going to be bookended by two EPs. The first EP was going to be a mix of electronic dance that I made, and every track had to be made in 6 hours. So I got up, I made a coffee, I had a fag, and then I wrote, arranged, produced, and mixed and mastered a track in 6 hours. And I did that every day for a week. So I had 6 tracks by the end of it, and one wasn't good enough. And so the Speed of Thought was an album I was making after that. So I released the first one, so I started making this album, and I got 10 tracks into it, and my MacBook died. So the whole album sort of fell apart, and then the second EP became the demos that sort of were almost finished off the Speed of Thought album. And the next EP after that was going to be like an acoustic version of my favourite tracks off of that. So this one was going to be on Speed of Thought, but I couldn't arrange it in time. I was having real trouble arranging it. I got 30 seconds into it, and it was just causing all sorts of trouble on my computer. I had so many tracks running, and I couldn't bounce it down for reasons. And yeah, it made this one.
London 1897. Wow. Oh, there's a red gibbous waxing dripping on the street, and whoa, 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 whoa. The frozen expression of sepia spirit spray with knot and lineage. Coronary calluses protect those sniffing hounds back to the arm. Boys, I'm back and maybe heard echoes of Kmart with foresight design. Deliberate malicious, only fools doubt it blind. The devil's in the details of the black dog said. And the sense of pampered arrogance lingers on this mortal wound. There's Butcher up in Baker Street, a straggler up in Soho, the eulogist and Houston on squeeze. Cry ever can, let's slip the dogs. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Carbon pipes left smoking, body strewn softly burn on a floor of velvet pillows, and the vacant expression of hardly present spirits was killed by a howl and a pipe. We'd snapped, the bastards are boys, the dog's nose never lies. Meanwhile a sleek and slender shadow skips over slates. He takes no pride in skill today. Oh, an unwilling utterance, and the beacons are lit. Close down, boys, the bridges through the line. Oh, Savile Row. It was the best dressed slaughter that you've ever seen, and the massacre in Mayfair of survivors no tales were told, and it was followed by the sick smell of a blood-drenched Sunday morning. Hitherto unseen flags fly unfurled, and a trail of tiny footprints decorated by dragging tails. The new king of England is crowned at dawn. And his first words were spoken with the tone of a heavy heart. Back to your posts, boys. Back to your posts, boys. Back to your posts, boys. No, back to your posts, boys. Those rap bastards killed Mickey. No. Ow!
That is the final war of cats and dogs. Not quite from the Speed of Thought TP, but there we go, Gil. There's one for you. So we're coming up towards the end of the show. We're just about by an hour. What should we finish off with?
You want to do one more?
Let's do one more. Then you can have your coffee.
Oh no, it's actually a green tea latte.
Oh, very nice.
Let's see if I can remember this one, eh?
Everything dies. Everything dies. Everything dies every 65 million years. And we're so long overdue, we better pick up the anger and go on a grin, cause we've had a good run. All of us, bar the host, had a good one now, and we're the most decadent, deliberate bastards too. Set foot on the planet since T-Rex, picking vegans off the floor. Whoa, and listen to the page bombs we did with style. Blew off the sky and invented mayonnaise in a technicolor parallax, built periscopic case. Which we did it as James Bond, we did it as brains. Just all the stakes, vampire stakes, mopping our man says on the floor. They keep my shirts and the smoke from our trunks. I'm up for it, bouncing up and down, whoa. In a universe we don't understand it. If we did, whoa, it simply wouldn't be the most violent, vile bastards to set foot on the planet since T-Rex was bigger vegans off the floor. Oh, volcanoes may interrupt your travel plans every couple of years. It's a reminder that the universe is out to kill us. Smoke up a bowl and celebrate the run. All of us, bar the host, had a good one now, and we're the most decadent, deliberate bastards to set foot on the planet since T-Rex took vegans off the floor. Whoa, and we did it with H-bombs, we did it with style. We blew holes and sky infected mayonnaise in a theoretically parallax field periscopic gaze. Which we did it as James Bond, we did it as brains. Dishonor stakes, vampire stakes, mopping our man juices off the floor. We kick my shirts and swill from our troughs. I'm up for it, bouncing up and down, whoa. In a universe we don't understand, and if we did, whoa, it simply wouldn't be the most violent, vile bastards to set foot on the planet since T-Rex was picking vegans off the floor. Oh.
we're busting our teeth trying to work out this great cosmological dance that's going on beneath them all around us. We ain't discovery creates so much rings to agonise, we will know files over and over again like some kind of quantum Russian doll. And this will just keep on continuing till our synapses explode in a celestial ray of such insurmountable grandeur that we simply go man this weekend. Party the fuck on down. Cause we're the most finest champions of the universe. And we're the most finest champions until we're traveled that old world. And we're the most finest champions of the universe. And we're the most suplexer champions until we're traveled that. Say you stand by your man. Tell me something, don't understand. You said you loved me, and that's a fact. And then you left me, said you felt trapped. Well, some things you can't explain away, but the heartaches in me till this day. You didn't stand by me, no, not at all. You didn't stand by me, no way. You must explain why this must we come on this loop, John B. My grandfather and me. Around that south town we did roam, drinking all night. Got into a fight. Well, I feel so broke up, I wanna go home. So hoist up the John B. cell. See how the mainsail says, call for the captain, I sure let me go. Let me go. I wanna go. Well, I feel so broke up, I wanna go.
Ross Gilchrist for Live from the Living Room gigs. That was a fantastic little set there. Thank you so much for coming in, and cheers to everyone who has been taking the time to watch tonight's show.
Yes,
And,
thank you very much.
And please do check out rossgilchrist.bandcamp.com. Gil's saying you should do an acoustic EP and we shouldn't let you leave. I'm not sure if he wants the stream to continue or we should just lock you in my studio until you've recorded a new EP.
We should do that. We should actually do that.
And I should also say a very big thank you to everyone who has taken the time to support the Patreon link that I've been working on. I've got quite a few new subscribers on there. Patreon.com/David Burns. That all helps keep the show running, and it helps fund both this and my own band, Marshall Chips. So thank you very much to everyone who has signed up for that today. And just before we go, just a wee thank you to all the supporters of the show. So just everyone who has supported the show, it's all very, very much appreciated. I'll be back again next Wednesday night when my guest will be Andrea Louise, so please do tune in for that. If you haven't already, please give the channel a follow. That keeps you up to date on when we're live. We try to do a session every Wednesday night, and I do occasional ones myself. Now, we should get you to do some card tricks, girl. Saying he's seen you behind me.
No chance.
You thought you were hiding there.
I was. Graham only does them for booze.
Your cover's blown.
Pretty much.
But yeah, thank you to everyone who's watched tonight. Thank you, Ross. And where are you? We'll get you on that camera there. There you go. Cheers. I'll see you again next time. Bye.